What's up, y'all? It's Brandon from Ice Gaming. Yeah, I know it's been actually about a month since I last uploaded, but that was also a state and job ago, so I hope you'll forgive me. Yes, we are back with the Survival Frigate, which you might notice got another change. Yes, another change to the nacelles. I didn't want to do this one on camera, but as I'm talking about, I'll go ahead and show you guys clips of how I was building it. The original plan was to push out the hydrogen thrusters just a couple blocks, make room for some large ion thrusters front and back. But what I ended up doing on the current version that we're looking at is putting smaller hydrogen thrusters in that space instead, mostly because in the first iteration of the design, at least in the game, I can't have ion thrusters for the simple reason that I won't have access to platinum or gold until I get to the moon. So the core of it is, at least around the thruster itself, is built in the same circular way that I did the last time. You can see I'm just putting the blocks around the cone itself. I made a slight modification to it, I believe, just makes it a little bit more interesting. But I did extend these bits out the same way I did in the previous version, except I did all 4 this time instead of just 3 of them, which I think actually looks a little bit better. Sort of makes it look a little bit more like a distinct part of the ship. Again, using the grates with the slats going vertical for some detail. And here I'm basically adding just a couple of fins on the side. I guess you could call them cooling fins. Honestly, I just put them there because they look kind of cool. But they do add a little bit of extra protection to the outside, stopping shots before they hit the main fuselage or anything like that. As well as a few angles on the engines that I'm putting on there right about now. The engines are literally just on a string of intersections coming off of the hydrogen tank, and then I put some Mark II guns on top and bottom. Welcome back to the live vid, sort of. So, the end result of this is I managed to fit 6 sideways thrusters, 6 down thrusters, and I'm sorry, these are down thrusters, but you know they're mirrored, so 6 down thrusters, 6 up thrusters, and then an additional 8, because 4 on each side, forward and reverse thrusters that should help when I don't necessarily need to use the big engines, so like micro maneuvers. I like the big ones because they're great for efficient large burns, but they also use up a lot of fuel per hit pretty much, so I would rather them not be used all the time. Now there's an additional advantage to this, which is kind of apparent if we come in here, and you can see that there's just a lot more room in the nacelle area. Obviously I haven't finished piping this up yet. That's not going to be this video. This video is going to be about finishing the outside of this thing, as in 100% finished, 100% done. We're calling it there, that whole thing. And then, depending on how long that goes, maybe working on the interior a bit. We got the forward reverse thrust, we got the sideways thrust we need. I would prefer the sideways thrust to be a little bit more, but we'll see how it works in practice, when I actually get into the game and start flying it around. And we have plenty of places to add more, as you probably see in a few other versions of this, where I have sideways thrust around the hangar area. So, one part of the exterior that I have been messing around with, and again, in the other versions you probably noticed that I put guns here very often, is these bits right here. But I think there's another option that's going to make this ship far more viable in the long run than more guns. And I know more guns, more better in general, but in this case, since this is not supposed to be a primary combat ship, in other words, if I'm deciding I'm going to go into combat, this is not the ship I'm taking. It's going to have all my refineries on it, going to have my assemblers on it. The last thing I want to do is get it damaged or destroyed. Well, it might be best if I had some modular attachment points here so that I can build off of them and create modules for this thing, such as an atmospheric lifting module, Might be able to use them as docking ports with smaller vessels if I decide to create like an attack corvette or something to go in after things instead of sending this thing in. So that's what I'm going to do with these. So, how am I going to build these? Well, I'm going to be not exactly, pseudo-copying a design that originally came from Apex Engineer 12, and it may be an exact copy, but it might also be flipped 90 degrees. That's why I'm saying pseudo-copy. But the way that design works is if I can grab my where are you? My connectors. So if I grab my connectors, these would go one on either side, and then merge block. And where my merge blocks are, there you are. Then merge blocks, top and bottom. And that would allow the modular grid, I guess you would call it, to attach right there. Of course, we have to get rid of these things temporarily to fit in the conveyor ports, and then there you are. So let's add the conveyor ports in right there and put the connectors back on. Now let's see, do I want them like so? I think I'm actually gonna go sideways for this. Yeah, it should work out okay. Alright, so next part. Just gonna swoop these in like so. So match it up to the rest of the line. I think I'm gonna keep this trench going, so that's okay. And just like that, we have modular attachment point. Let's see. What else can we add to this? Should have a door here somewhere. Door? Anywhere. Come on. I'm sure I'm blind and it's like literally right there. There it is. Okay. So, so for door options, in terms of making this airtight, this may actually work. Let's check the connector for a moment. So it has airtight, not sealed, which means none of the sides of this are actually sealed. So this would actually not work because these doors are not sealed in this direction. So I would need to inset it 1 anyway, which means I might as well just use a sliding door, and that would allow this to be used as a straight up docking port. So probably have an airlock in here. Not sure if it would be a smart airlock or a dumb airlock at this point. We'd have to see how the hangar goes, see how the connections line up, but for now, that should work out okay. And then we're just going to repeat this up front. Alright, cool. So it's not exactly the most attractive looking thing, but I think the functionality of it does make up for it. Plus it does come with the added bonus of, we can dock little fighters onto here or other things, as opposed to just being purely modular. So, with that out of the way, I think it's time to turn our attention to the hangars. So I'm going to start by punching a hole in the front. So that is the height of the airtight hangar doors. Yes, we're going to have a fly-through here. And I actually debated making the hangar not airtight because this is a huge amount of oxygen in here. That would get vented basically due to any accident, I guess you could call it. And it's also a huge target area. Like, this is literally one of the first things to get hit. So I was thinking about that, but then I was like, you know what? Cool factor, I think I'm gonna go for it anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't expect this to be like the primary way I get a ship out of here. I expect it to be more like secondary, tertiary, something like that. But I guess from a roleplay perspective, if this is a sort of backline ship that's a combination like artillery plus launching fighters, so I guess it's actually more of a support carrier than a support frigate, now that I think about it. Then the front is literally the most convenient direction to launch fighters, and it is one of the better protected areas. Now that that is covered, let's see what other exterior modifications I want to make. I was kind of looking at, on this one, making the hangar sort of split on the outside, but I don't know. I ended up not... I am not really liking it because I kind of want to be able to fly the larger ships in. What? Actually, no. That is a perfectly valid reason for having this in the front. This creates a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 4 space, whereas these are all of 6 by 4. And it's kind of hard to turn around in here. Like, it's fine for a small fighter or something, or like space miner, but for a larger craft, this is just straight up more convenient. So, nope, we're not working on the hangar right now. We're going to stay focused on the outside. So let's see, what else do we need on the outside? Well, we need more guns. We need point defenses. We need pew pew. So, where can I put more guns up here that actually makes some amount of sense? Well, I guess first of all, let's take a look at the guns I'm going to be using, which the guns I'm going to be using are these Telian anti-fighter turrets. And the reason for that is they fire 40mm Wolfram slug belts, which, let's see if we can grab an assembler real fast. So if we take a look at it, this is the 40mm Wolfram slug belt. So, it requires 16 2/3 iron, 1/3 of a cobalt ingot, and 0.08 magnesium. Now we're starting out on Earth, which means that the thing that we have the most of, bar none, is cobalt. Now, it's not the most common resource on Earth, but it's also only found in that kind of quantity on Earth, as far as I'm aware. It might also be found like that on Pertum, and I believe there is one other planet, maybe, that has it with our mod pack. Which is scarce resources, if I'm remembering this right. This has been a little while. But we have a good amount of cobalt available to us, so we can make a lot of this with relatively very little magnesium. So I'm going to be using the 40mm gun to do most of the point defense and anti-fighter work. So, what would be the best place here to put them? I think between these lines, and then we can fit 4 of them, which we go over here, grab the turret. I don't know which way is front on this, and I'm not sure if it matters or not, because it looks... Aha! It was the other way. Why not? There we go. You're gonna be the wrong way. Nope, you're actually not. You're the right way, and last one. Cool. So it's 4, which is gonna be a good amount of cover fire there. Then we're gonna do the same thing on the sides, both sides. Of course, that's the wrong way. There we go. Just keep going. And then for the bottom, we have a little bit of extra room, so I'd kind of like to do something slightly different. So let's go ahead and knock out these bits right here. So we have this spot right here and this spot right here to play with. Let's grab our conveyor junctions and check out our weapons again. So, decent options for this might be the battleship cannon, although we'd have to redo this bit down here, and I kind of like the look of a rather simple part when the rest of this is greebled out the wazoo. We could do a vanilla turret as well, though. And I think that's what I'm going to go with. The vanilla turrets are pretty decent at putting heavy hitting rounds downrange, and I don't mind having 4, I just don't want them to be my primary anti-fighter weapons. Cool, so basically we've created a massive kill zone on the sides and on the top against fighters, and to be honest, I'd rather them hit the sides and top. I'd rather them hit the bottom than the sides and top. I can lose bits on the bottom a little bit more easily than I can the other ones. But we're still not undefended. We still got 4 of these guys with a pretty decent radius to shoot from. So, okay. Now, do I want to greeble a bit more protection for them? Maybe not a lot, but I am gonna bring this one down just a little. Does that look good? Does that make sense? No, and no. Okay. Leave that as it is. Okay. What about from the bottom? That's gonna be where the main job is. Well, I can't put any on the sides over here unless I extend this line here out that way, and that's gonna look kind of weird. So I think I might just do an auto repair system for these, and you know, hope I can keep repairing them. Alright, so bottom. Any other good places for them on the bottom? I kind of need to put some atmospheric thrusters, I believe, in this slot right here and this slot right here. And then probably some other thrusters in like the other slots. So that's out. I really don't want to neglect the bottom, because that is one of the places that I see a lot of ships just have not a lot of defense. These two things are good for warding off like big ships, but the smaller ships will get in there and get you if you don't have good enough defenses against them. Hello, what are you doing out here? We got on both sides there? Yeah, everything looks okay. Okay, so that was just like a straggler or something from when I redid it. Okay, cool. So what else could I do to give the bottom more protection? You know what? I got this entire area in here. If I put turrets, just small ones, like the anti-fighter turrets in here, it's gonna be the wrong way, and it is not. Cool. Not a lot of them, just like that. They are the wrong way. I was turned around. That's right. There we go. That'll give a little bit of extra coverage on the bottom. So that'll be 4. So, I mean, it's basically the same as the sides and top. Without significantly increasing the profile. and also give a little bit more coverage to the front. So I think our bottom is slightly better defended than our top is, which is not ideal, but let's think about this. In a combat situation, this means I want to angle myself up, which I don't necessarily want to do. I want to face the enemy like this. Like, I want to be hitting them from a great distance with my big cannons, which means the things getting close are light and maneuverable, because I won't be able to hit them with these. So all these guys are basically going to be shooting this direction, which means I'm definitely under defended at the top, and that is where I have some relatively valuable things. I am also somewhat undefended at the back. So I think I'm going to solve both of these issues. Not completely, but good enough. With a couple of anti-fire turrets there. I do think they look kind of cool there as well, so that's also nice. And I could put some dorsal cannons as well, like maybe the Mark 1s. I did that in a few other versions, and they did end up looking pretty nice, so I'm good with it here. So let's grab our Barrier Junctions. Boom and boom. Battleship Cannon. And we're good. Cool. Alright, so that is a terrifying looking top. I probably wouldn't want to go for that in a fighter. I definitely don't want to attack from this angle on the diagonal. This angle, less defended, but also, you know, still relatively decently defended. I would be looking at hitting this bit mostly, which means this is the section I should consider replacing with heavy armor. Yeah, because everything else is reasonably well protected with guns. Well, I mean, this isn't over here. You know what, yeah. The engines do need some of their own protection. And I'm going to go with full regular Gatling guns. There we go. And our normal Gatling gun is right there. There we go. Which adds a little more fire on the bottom, a little more fire on the top, and covers the engines pretty decently on that angle. Alright, cool. So now we're basically left with the back, and although I'm not entirely happy with how this turned out, it's also not that bad. So I'm mostly going to be porting it. Wow, that's a lot of thrusters I put in there. I was looking at ion thrusters as more of a, you know, I'm building this out for the future kind of thing, but let's see. I think if I follow the general plan, this ends up sticking out a little bit too far for my liking, so I'm going to maybe bring it out with 45-degree angles from this bit right here. The idea that I had over there was, you know, let's make a private craft docking area. And I do still think that that's not a bad idea, like a personal kind of shuttle kind of craft. Maybe like an escape craft or something. So I think we can build that into here somewhere. Which means going to bring this down. If I can get my... There we go. If I can rotate things. That's not where I want to put that. I want to put that here. Didn't want that there. One goes there. Okay. Cool. And then... I guess that can be angled off for the time being. Alright. Now this leaves this area right here as a potential place to add some more forward thrusters. I don't know that I need more forward thrusters, but at the same time, I've got a decent amount of braking thrust. So maybe having some extra go power wouldn't be a bad idea. So let's add in... Let's add like 4 more hydrogen thrusters there. And then this section down here looks absolutely perfect for 2 large ion engines later on. And this section here looks like it could hold some ion engines as well. So just to make our accelerations more efficient in the future, I think I'm going to intentionally block this off and save it. Alright, so with all that done, let's move on to the top half of the backside. I am glad that this is taking me less time to come up with in the front part, which still kind of embarrassing to think about. But glad this is working. Alright, so did I do anything special there? Yeah, I did some side angles and interesting things there. This one I kind of mostly just want to bring up to match what I did over here. So maybe that works there. And then this works on this part. Yeah, it's not bad. And then we just do the same thing in the middle, maybe. As we remember to leave space for our small docking port. I kind of wanted to add some windows here, and why can't I do that? I could totally put windows across here and use plate to cover the top and have a 3 wide, 5 long, 2 high docking area, which is more than enough for a small personal like landing craft. Sure. Let's do that. And I know this is slightly edging more into interior design, but hey, if it works, it works. Ooh. Oh ho 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 ho. Just thought of an idea. So this is before. So this idea style, I guess you would call it, would actually predate the inclusion of plates, which would be to put a glass floor right there, and then put the 1x2 windows in here, like so, instead of plate, which actually opens it up kind of nicely right there. Okay, okay. Idea flowing, idea flowing. We're going to grab these bits. We're going to angle it in, like so. And that can be the airlock. And then... I don't... I do like the slope to the inside, but I just saw it from the outside again, and it's not looking as good as I thought it did. So let's swap this out really quick. See if it looks better with 1x2 windows instead. And okay. You know what? I think that actually works a little bit better because the lines will at least match up. Cool. All right. So, I did finish this over here, didn't I? No, I didn't. I'm also hoping I remembered to talk about doing this when I did. Anyway, so those look like they're all done. The only thing left here is some form of a door. Which I think I'm actually going to go with the standard sliding door here, like so. Yeah, that looks okay. And I do believe that because I put this window up top there, I can put like a light up here, or maybe run a vent through there. I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, I'm loving how the ship is looking right now. I've gotten a lot of comments on, at this point, a couple of different servers now, about, hey, this ship looks freaking amazing. That's not exact quotes, so, you know, I think I might be one of the few people that says freaking amazing, but it does seem to be a good-looking design, and not just from my own point of view, so I am very happy to know that I'm at least on the right track when it comes to this design. Now, as for this section right here, again, this is getting into interior design, which I don't quite want to do yet. I had a sudden realization that maybe putting all the programmable blocks for the ship in a relatively weakly defended part of the ship is probably a bad idea, so I'm not going to do that. This is probably mostly going to be a passageway. Might do some like interior decorations here or there. Might, you know, move this floor up one. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, because that'll add a little bit of armor to it. So, is there anything else I may want to do with the space down here? Well, there is always more guns. This is a relatively undefended direction to attack from. I'm going to want more guns somehow anyway. So let's see, where can I slap more guns on anyway? Right here. Gun. Cool. That gives me 2 defending that angle. Total of 4 from that angle. So basically, if you attack dead on from the back and get in close enough that you're not under fire from those 2 on the top. Okay, that is still a weak angle. That is still a weak angle for this thing. Okay. So I am going to need more guns no matter what I do. So if I inset a couple of turrets here, and I could totally fit another one in here, but aesthetics. I'll pass on because of aesthetics. Alright, so if I put my conveyors here, I can totally fit 4 normal turrets in there. which is, you know, totally fine for now. That's still a bad angle because it actually blocks that. So if I want to make this a better angle, I might have to redo this line right here. So let's redo the whole thing. Well, this bit. Definitely not the whole thing at this point. There. Now those guns have a line on the back part right here, which means this is still a weak angle here, but the odds of hitting that angle exactly are not great, and I still have 2 anti-fighter turrets, and if you go just slightly too far up, those guys have an angle. Which makes me think maybe I should give these guys a better angle like that. Ooh, yeah. That was the key right there. That was the key. Okay. So now from the bottom, this thing is reasonably well protected. From the back, I at least have 4 anti-fighter turrets, and hopefully I'm not going to get any big guys trying to, you know, fly around behind me or something. And if I do, you know, I also have these giant cannons that can turn around and hit them, so that's not bad. I think I have space for my conveyor stuff. Yes, I do. Let's go ahead and link that up. Oop. As I realized that that was my way in. Okay. I do have a door. Grab the connector, slap that in. Well, that's good to go. Can I even see those rear-facing turrets from the inside? Wow. Not really. Where are you? Ah, down and to the right. So, they are right here. Cool. Alright, so looks like most of this is starting to come together. I am very glad I decided to do the interior in this section here as opposed to the front. Gives me a much nicer hangar to play with, although the interior is going to be slightly more cramped. I'm also very glad that I extended these out this way so I can have a lot more room to play around with it. Is there anything else I want to do? No, I think I actually accomplished exactly what I set out to do, which is get the exterior. Oh, come on. Brandon, stop trolling yourself. Fine. Alright. Let's go ahead and... You know what? We're going to do this slightly differently than I just did. We're going to do it with 2x1 slopes. There we go. A little more interesting. There. And then the middle here. What I'm going to do is a single block of 2x1 slopes in the original shape that I planned to use and keep the thing relatively simple. That went very out the window very quickly. Let's go and fill that in. Make sure we're, you know, airtight before I have to worry about being airtight. Still good? Nope. This entire side over here. Alright, so let's go on inside here. It's these 3 blocks. And I think that's a complete exterior ship. Please tell me yes. Yeah, I think it is. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and check the time on the recording. And at about an hour, I think it's probably time to cut. So, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a like. It really helps me out. And well, if you want to see the rest of the series, as I end up actually, releasing it, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time where we finally start working on the interior of the ship.